Is this the right one? Hold on, is this the meeting ID? Oh, it's recording right. Yep, it's the right one. Hey, hey, hey. Hello.
Oh, there we go. Hi.
Hi. Having a hard time hearing you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear
There
me?
you are. Okay, great. This is great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. So nice to meet you finally.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you.
I got stuck in so much traffic, and the lighting is not perfect in here. So
Me neither. So
yeah. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. Hold on.
okay, take your time.
Hi, Lisa. So
Hi.
fun to see you.
Fun to see you too. Thank you. I never know where to look at these cameras.
I know.
So awkward. Yeah, I
You
love
look so
your class.
young, Lisa. Is that all because of CellCore?
I would like to think so, but thank you. Yeah, I just did my roots. Maybe that's why.
You're so funny.
Got rid of the gray yesterday.
You're just having issues because the video's on.
Yeah. So,
Taller.
where did you go?
Stand it up on the. There you go. That's rude. Can you not do that?
Hey, Kat.
There you are. Hi. Put you on a.
I felt so in the dark, literally.
Hey.
God, lose the attitude.
That's better.
It's here.
We're recording this, right? Yeah, you said.
I think it says recording on there. I'm nervous because I didn't set it up. I let other people set it up who are good at that kind of stuff.
It says recording.
It says recording. Don't know where it's
Yes.
recording to, but
Good.
probably
Hi.
too loud. I think we're waiting for a couple more people to hop on. Hi, Jenny.
Good.
How are the twins? Shelby. Hi, Shelby.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Better.
Good morning, everybody. I just want to give everybody like a minute or two to get on. I think we're supposed to have, how many people, Joy? Do you know?
I didn't get an RSVP, but I figured, I know I had told a couple of people since we're recording it, they were going to catch that since it is the middle of the workday for most people.
It is. It is. Not for us abnormal ones.
This is work, so.
It is. It is. It is.
Oh my God, look at baby. Hi, Kara.
Oh my gosh, she's so
Oh
cute.
my God, she got so big.
Oh my gosh, she's your twin.
She is. Wow.
Wow.
Everyone
So
says she looks like Paul. I mean, she
Yeah,
does.
she's your spitting image.
she's just like you. Just like you. Mm. Okay, well, I think I'll get started then, since Joy, you said that people will catch the recording.
Yep.
I am Dr. Kat. I know all of you except for you, Lisa, actually. I've talked to you on the phone numerous times. So nice to see your beautiful face. I'm really excited to be doing this with everybody, and I just want you to know that like I am relatively new to all this information, which is why we have an expert on here with the company. And a couple guinea pigs who might share their experience, but they don't look like pigs or guinea pigs, but they're still cute and cuddly, even though it's 2020. Joy's been having a great experience so far, and I want to introduce her in a minute. But what I want to say, just if I don't get a chance to say it later, and I know it will be reiterated. First of all, I'm going to make sure everybody's muted. I want to make sure that we are very clear that we are not going to skip steps or muscle or power through things, that we need to kind of reach up and ask for some assistance if need be. Going rogue will be painful. And I know some of us who have done that kind of thing before, and it's not pretty. Joy, did you want me to say anything about everything else, or do you want me to just have you share your story a little bit first?
I mean, I think I would just reiterate first and foremost how you guys.
I have that whole little bit.
Yeah.
That you want me to
Well,
share.
but I just think it's really, and this is what Lisa has taught me, and I think that some of us have experienced, is that when we don't follow the steps and kind of go off and try to figure it out ourselves, the likelihood of herxing or not feeling good is much, much higher. Lisa, for me, has really, I'm the guinea pig, and I promise that like I go to Lisa for every little thing. I'm like, oh, this happened, that happened. What do I do? And she's who's teaching me how to adjust. But I think, Lisa, the biggest thing that you've said, that for the most part, I don't know if there's a percentage, but like say 85% of people, as long as you follow the steps and you don't skip doses and you're pooping every 24 hours, we're going to talk a lot about poop. You guys shouldn't feel awful. With that said, though, I'll be the first to say that I love this program. I have been just, is it okay if I share a little
Oh,
bit
wait,
of my history?
before you do, because I want to introduce you like properly. I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure that I said, so anyway, just to reiterate what Joy was saying, you know, everyone is super different. We're all bio-individual. We are encouraging no one to go rogue and to reach out for help if you need to modify the protocol. Phase 1 is opening up the drainage pathways, which is your normal body's detoxification, not like a detox, but like your body's actual normal pathways for how it gets rid of things like poop and sweat, and sometimes it's vomit, whatever it is, you know, whatever skin, whatever it comes out, your body is doing that. It might have been backed up for a really long time. By the time some of us, I think, have gotten to this protocol, if I can speak for Joy and myself at least, we have tried everything under the sun, and it's a last ditch thing. And so, you know, possibly you're coming at this with already a pretty clean body, or you're coming at this the other way. And so all of these things that you feel, like headaches, achiness, loose, running stools, bloating, fatigue, constipation, will be all normal and will pass once your system gets moving. But the most important thing, like Joy was saying, that you can ever remember, and it's my favorite topic on the planet, is that you're moving your bowels daily 2 to 3 times. Once is not enough. Once never is enough for my patients. My patients know that 8 hours after they eat their meals, they should be pooping. We should be pooping 3 times every 24 hours. When a baby doesn't poop, we freak out. When old people do or don't poop, we freak out. So we don't freak out anymore when we're an adult, and it's a mistake. We need to make sure that we are going. So do not go more than 24 hours without a BM. We're going to be making sure that you have all the tools necessary. There's a little bit more information here, but I'm sure Lisa will go into that a little bit. So I want to introduce, most of you know who I am. So hey, I'm Dr. Kat, but I wanted to introduce you to Joy. Joy is, first of all, a multifaceted friend in many areas of my life. We met when I was hosting a Holistic Moms Network meeting about 5 weeks after my cesarean with my first kid, and she thought I was crazy, and I thought she was super cool, and she got me on the path to having a VBAC with my son, and we helped her have, you know, a VBAC after 2 cesareans. And so Crunchy Moms United, we're business partners, we're friends, we're fellow Crunchy Moms, and she's got a nutrition background. She was the one who introduced me to how to cook gluten-free properly and dairy-free, and showed me that it could be done with kids. And so she was the one who decided that she would be open to being a guinea pig, because this year I also, to complicate my health matters, also am experiencing Lyme and mold in this fabulous year of 2020. So I wanted to properly introduce Joy to you all, and she has been doing the protocol for longer than me, which I have not started yet. So I'm starting soon. And I normally would never do this without having started it, but I knew that I had some experts on here. So some of y'all were game. So I will now turn it over to you. All you.
Thanks, Kat. Hi, you guys. So yeah, so just to condense my health history, I've been trying to figure out what's wrong with me for probably 8 years. And I've gone to extreme lengths, including traveling to Costa Rica and pulling out my breast implants 4 years ago to try to resolve some of my health issues. And I've done a lot of things, which I suspect a lot of you guys are here in the same boat, where I've done a lot of things and I've seen marginal improvement. But I knew that there was stuff going on. And even Dr. Kat was, she look at me, she's like, I don't know, you already do all the things. I can't figure you out. And so I saw probably about 3 months ago, you guys all filled out that health history. And I was impressed with the health history before I knew anything about CellCore. And I thought even that health history gave me so much information to see what was going on like behind the scenes. So for me, it was parasites, mitochondrial issues, some biotoxin stuff, which none of that, heavy metals, which none of that surprised me. And I think all of you guys have filled that out. So you should know kind of like what areas you need work on. And so I offered to be the guinea pig and take it off Kat's place. I was like, I'll learn it, I'll run it, I'll do it, you know, practice on me. And I've been really, really impressed. We'll share all the bodily fluids in this group. So let's get comfortable with that. I did the GI map. Kat was shocked. She said, I've never seen anybody's GI map come back like yours before. So we met with she met with the doctors. They put me on a protocol where I was doing hundreds of dollars of supplements a month just to try to poop. And sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. And I was feeling really frustrated and I didn't want to do that forever. And I was really, really impressed when I started taking the bowel mover. Now, bowel mover, I think, Lisa, normal dose is 2 a day. Is that correct? I take 5 a day, you guys, just to be clear. So you have to play with the dose a little. And sometimes I have to bump it up a little even more than that. But I was really impressed when I started seeing things moving. And while I haven't herxed, like I haven't felt horrible, there have been some days that I didn't feel good. So, and we're going to go into this, but the product, for example, TEDCA opens up your bile ducts. I know I have a lot of liver work to do. So I had headaches a couple of days. They weren't severe, but I did have them. I'm trying to think, like I had viruses. I'm just going to tell you all the things, like herpes, which I haven't dealt with in like probably 10 years. All of a sudden I had an outbreak. I used to get ocular migraines probably 20 years ago on a regular basis. All of a sudden those came back. For a while, the itchiness, if you guys know me personally, you know, I've been dealing with a rash. Initially that got worse. Now it's gone. So I just want to say that, like, you know, yesterday I just started phase 3. I felt terrible yesterday. Like I had stomach cramps and bloating and gassing. Today I feel good. I also have a clarity. Kat can vouch for this. I'm thinking so much clearer than I was before. I've been trying to get rid of that armpit rash I pulled my breast implants out because of that, you guys. Like I've been trying to get rid of that for probably 5 or 6 years. It's gone. The things that are coming out of my body, I know that Kat doesn't want the details, even though I've really offered. Lisa, thank God, will look at my pictures. But if you guys want to talk about that, I'm your girl. Kat is not. But like, I know that this protocol works. And I'm just going to ask you to kind of lean in, take some stuff off your plate, off your schedule the first couple weeks or as you shift into a new phase. Like just be willing to get uncomfortable, be willing to reach up and ask for help and support because we're all here to support you. But I'm telling you, I have not found anything else that works the way that this does. So I'm your poster child for CellCore.
That's so awesome. And yeah, I'll look at pictures of baby poop, not grown-up poop. Just being honest. So, Lisa.
Yes, hi.
Would you be open to like questions or maybe like a paraphrasing of what phase 1 really is? I mean, I did go through it all yesterday and I understood that there was like, there's a, like, how would someone know if all of a sudden they started off with the wrong phase or like they're not doing it sensitive enough? Or that they need to actually be comprehensive. I know that we filled out the forms and stuff and that helps us to understand how complex we need to be. But maybe whatever, you can fill in whatever blanks and then maybe open for questions briefly before patients start.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hi, guys. I'm so excited for you all. This is definitely life-changing and it's definitely worth doing. It's a process and I always felt when I went through it, it was daily progress, which was exciting because it keeps the momentum going. So instead of thinking this is a long haul, every week something changes and you get better. So the products work. Figure out if you want to go for it on a standard dose, if you're feeling up to it and you want to risk, take that chance, or figure out if you want to go a lower dose. If you go low, you can always go higher. if you go high and you don't feel so good, you can always go lower. So it's increments, but you want to definitely follow the protocol. The only thing that you really want to adjust and make it your own is the bowel mover. Everyone's different. You might need one, or you might need a couple in the evening, or even more. So that's open to whatever your needs are. We are focusing on our drainage pathways, opening them up. And the main thing is if you have any bloating, any gas, or you're just not feeling good, that usually you go back to making sure you're going number 2 to 3 times a day. It always goes back to that. And if that isn't working, we'll boost up the TUDCA to get that going. The TUDCA opens up the liver pathways and it creates a lot of bile to help you get the movement in the large intestine that you need to move your bowels properly. So everything is about the drainage pathways. Most people feel really good on phase 1. So if there's anything that you're going through, making sure you're just drinking more water, making sure that you don't put up with anything, like contact us and let us know that you're dealing with something. There's usually a solution that we can tweak and get you back on track. Sometimes there might be a time that you're not feeling so great and it's just something clearing out. So just be patient and be consistent, and it will definitely work and clear out. I have a chart here. It's one of my favorite. It's can I show the chart? It's the drainage funnel. Can you see that okay? And the drainage funnel at the very bottom is the colon. This is the most important. If this is clogged, everything above it is congested and clogged. So if you are experiencing a lot of rashes or lung and kidney problems or any type of skin interruptions, you're usually looking at the liver and bile duct. So this is not open properly. So you have to go back to make sure you're moving your bowels more so this can open up more. Also, TUDCA has a really great way of opening up the liver and creating more bile. It's creating quantity and quality of bile. A lot of people have bile problems and they don't even realize it. So this is going to be really helpful in your digestion. Yes, you're on mute.
What if somebody has no gallbladder? They have had a gallbladder removal. Can they still use TUDCA?
Yes, this is even more important for them. So it's going to help clear out, create that bile and help clear everything out nicely. So as you start to open up these pathways, moving the colon, the liver starts to drain beautifully, creating more bile. If you're experiencing skin issues, kidney or lung problems, that means you need more focus on drainage. So maybe more bowel mover or maybe more TUDCA. And then as you start opening these pathways, the lymphatic system starts to open up. And when that starts to flow, the lymphatic system in the brain starts to open up. So you kind of like, you're having more focus, you're getting rid of brain fog, even depression starts to clear up because of lymphatic system. So you go into the deep of the cells and the tissues. So all of this is draining, and this is how we are supposed to function. But with congestion and parasites or even mold, it loves to clog the bile and the bile ducts. So we start opening that up and you should start really clearing out. So that is just the funnel that you always go back to. If there's any problems, you're like, okay, why? Why do I have brain fog? Why do I have depression? Why am I itchy? Why am I rashy? Why am I having these problems? You go back and you say, okay, I might need to boost my bowel mover. I might need to boost my TUDCA and drink more water. So all these pathways will open up and more clarity across the board will happen.
Got it. I'll make sure
I have
that
a
I have
question,
that in the
Lisa.
group. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Lisa, what would you say if there's anybody here who knows they're coming in with constipation issues? Would you recommend that they start taking bowel mover? We're starting January 11th. Would you recommend that people start with the bowel mover now?
Yeah, I think that would be a great head start. Just because you want to introduce that and making sure that is getting regular. That would be a really, really nice head start. Yes. Okay. Especially if they're definitely dealing with constipation.
What if it's the other? What if they have diarrhea?
Okay, sometimes you could add the biotoxin binder.
Okay.
That is a really nice one to balance things. The bowel mover can be added. Some people experience, even though it's opposite of constipation, it does create a healthier environment in the gut and it stabilizes the diarrhea. And also, one thing that you can bring in early at a very low dose is the para 1, which is in phase 2, but you can actually bring that in at a low dose just because it creates more binding, so you don't have it running through you.
If they're taking the para 1 though, they have to do that first thing in the morning and it has to be separated out from everything else, correct?
Yes, it can be in the evening as well, and it should be an hour away from the other products, or like 15 minutes before dinner is fine, or later in the evening is fine.
The para 1 or the binder?
The para 1, yeah. And the biotoxin binder can be taken with food or without food, but definitely 1 hour away from para 1. So the binders are amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
Does the para 1 and para 1 have to be away from the Mito ATP and minerals also?
Yes, thank you. Para 1 needs to be away from everything, but specifically an hour from the binder, the biotoxin binder. Yes. So like 40 minutes is good, 45 minutes. But if you're just going to take the binder an hour later, you might as well take your other products too when you're there. Yes.
So the other products can be taken with the biotoxin binder?
Yes, they can. All the
It's not
products
para
can
1.
be taken together. But if that's only if you're introducing para 1. Para 1 will come into phase 2. You might not need it in phase 1, but it's an option if you definitely have the runs. Sometimes in the beginning, the biotoxin binder have, like, people get diarrhea with the biotoxin binder. And if that happens, we'll just lower your bowel mover. And if you can put up with it, that's great, because it'll stabilize sometimes a couple days, but sometimes a week. Everyone's different.
Jess, are you willing to come on? So I'm just going to introduce Jess. Jess, she's what is your actual title?
I'm a professional counselor in mental health.
So mental health, and she's EMDR. She's super cool. But because we work together in my office, I can't take advantage of being her patient. So dang. But if anybody else needs some support there, anyway, so she was willing to be our first patient guinea pig, non-Joy, non-cat. You know, the Cat and Joy show. Everybody expects us to do crazy things, but she was willing to try this. As a functional medicine patient, she was willing to try this out, because really that was the one area, and it's refreshing because we knew it was the one area. We knew there's some mold and stuff, and she's moving soon, and we knew what we had talked to you, and you had said, Lisa, that this will get her 80% of the way, and she was like, you know what, let's do it, because I'm moving anyway, so I know that I can get a lot better. So can you just share a little bit about your experience so far?
Sure. So
whatever you're willing to share.
Yes, I started phase 2 a week ago, so I made it through phase 1.
Okay.
So that was a really adventure. I experienced really loose bowels, and so I was like almost diarrhea twice a day. So it was actually, I was quite surprised. So I had a pretty typical bowel movement before I started phase 1, and it kind of like definitely put me over. I think I lost about 4 pounds in a month, just the drainage and opening up those pathways. Overall, my experience in phase 1 was like really positive. I definitely felt more energy. I'd been doing gluten-free, dairy-free for the couple months prior, so I know that definitely helped the diet change. But other than that, I didn't change a thing. Definitely felt better. I've actually now, in a weekend phase 2, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling something. So I'm wondering too, now that I'm like becoming more constipated, I'm like, oh, okay, something's happening within me. My eyes are really puffy. And I'm only a weekend, so I can tell there's something happening within me in phase 2. So I'm working to make sure I'm exporting all of what's happening to me. So
Right. One
So
thing, if you're getting a little constipated like that, you can boost your TUDCA. So if you're taking one in the morning and one with dinner or something, you could take one with lunch and see how you do with that. Because
yes.
Mhm.
So I don't have, so I used all of my phase 1. So I guess my question would be, should I get, because in phase 2, those things aren't in there.
The
In
TUDCA,
the, in,
yeah, the TUDCA is in phase 2.
I didn't have it.
TUDCA?
Mm-mm.
Oh, maybe that's why you're getting constipated.
So it came with para 1, 2, there's a binder, KL support, and then a dropper.
Oh, not.
So
Oh,
that's why I'm like,
are you on step 2?
step 2, yes.
Oh, I see. All right, so you're doing the foundational phase,
Correct.
which is different than the comprehensive phase.
Correct.
Okay, so did you boost your bowel mover when you're dealing with the constipation?
So I don't have any. So I had used it all in the step 1. So I need to get more.
Yeah. So it sounds like you might need to get some bowel mover and also maybe some TUDCA, because you don't want to get constipated in phase 2, because you are starting to pull a lot out of the intestines, and the parasites start to get smothered where they die, they suffocate, and then you don't want that stuck in your system. You've got to clear that out ASAP. Yeah, because then you're not going to feel good. And then the puffiness is because of the lymphatic system is not draining. So if the colon is clogged, the bile is congested, and then the lymphatic gets clogged, and then that's where you get the puffiness from. So I'm glad you mentioned that. We got to fix that.
In the meantime, while she's waiting for it to get to her, especially with the holiday, could she run to like a health food store where she is and get like some mag citrate, like some natural calm, or do some Epsom
Yes.
salt baths and things to increase your stooling, like some
Yes.
aloe juice. There are a few things to help loose the stools. I mean, if you just want to have loose stools, you can take magnesium oxide. It doesn't absorb at all. It's like a 4% absorption rate, but it's fantastic to create a literal shitstorm. Pardon my language.
Yeah, I like Cape Aloe or Aloe Ferox. That will really get the bulk of the stool out. So.
Those are good recommendations. Thank you. I'm like, it took me a while in phase 1 in this first step to be like, oh, something's happening. And now I'm at that point in step 2 and I'm like, oh, something's happening.
I mean, did you say you were dealing with mold?
Yeah. So I have had parasite, H. pylori, mold, kind of all in one.
Yeah. So I had
Carboxy.
mold. Yeah. The carboxy will be like well, you could probably add a little right now. I'm on carboxy now. It's strong stuff. I'm having some detox reactions on that. It goes 5.5 times stronger than the biotoxin binder. So yeah, it's good stuff. But maybe you might need the bowel mover, and I highly recommend staying on TUDCA throughout the phases. TUDCA is going to be your best friend when it deals with mold, because mold loves to clog that bile and those pathways in the liver, and the TUDCA will open all that up and create more bile to help clear it. Yeah, that's definitely something you should be on.
Awesome. So I definitely want to wrap it up soon because, we respect your time. But Tracy says, do we need to stop taking other supplements while we're doing this?
What can you not live without? I mean, if there's something you cannot live without, go for it. I think it's best to try to stop whatever you can. Although I needed extra magnesium, I needed extra GABA, and I stayed on my, a good vitamin D. I stayed on that, but it just depends on the individual.
Well, a few of us are like activating NRF2 and NRF1 using like cellular support. I don't think there's anything conflicting there, but probably when you're opening up drainage, you shouldn't have to take other things to open up drainage, or a lot of reasons why some people would take other things would be to supposedly help them. You shouldn't be doing any other parasite support or any other supports. That would make sense. Is there anyone else who has a question for Lisa? Joy, oh my gosh. I couldn't stop those. When I did that last time, it was bad. I had aphasia. It was, it was so bad. Does anybody else have a question at all for Lisa while we have her expertise on here? Okay. Before we close out, I just want to reiterate, you know, low and slow is totally okay. It is my motto with my patients. Abrupt stopping or skipping doses is not recommended. Always to go slower. And then, you know, kick a question back to us. Staying in communication. We'll have kind of it laid out for you what the parameters are for communication. I think I just saw a question pop up in the chat, and this is actually a great question. If anything, is anything conflicting with thyroid medicine and when to take the supplements? So I take some as well. I take a prescription glandular. Could you address that, since we're supposed to take that 45 minutes apart from anything else in the morning usually? Ashley, is that the case for you as well in the morning?
Are you asking me? Yes.
Yeah, I'm asking.
Okay.
I was asking her if hers was in the morning. But yeah, could you address that about?
Yeah, sorry, mine is in the morning too.
Okay, cool. Yep.
I take Armour Thyroid in the morning, and I heard Dr. Todd say, and this was helpful for me. He says, you know how you take it in the morning with water, you're not supposed to have anything for an hour or so.
Yes.
But I take it with my 10 drops of minerals and 10 drops of Mito ATP and 1 ounce of water, and that will help the delivery of the thyroid. And when I started doing that, it helped me drastically feel better, and my eyebrows came back, and my nails,
Wow.
I just had to cut them off yesterday, but my nails got better than ever. So it was definitely changing, and my thyroid was so bad from the mold that I was around, so I have to take another dose in the afternoon. So I take my Mito ATP and my minerals again around 2 o'clock, my second dose. I take with my thyroid med. So some water and then the minerals and Mito ATP. And right, if you have oxygen, or later when you add the oxygen in phase 2, you can do right after you drink the Mito ATP and minerals, you do another ounce of water and add your 10 drops of oxygen, and then you follow that right away. You could drink that right away. Also with the oxygen later, you can 1 drop in your hand. 1 drop has a lot of distance. You can do 1 drop and just put it on your thyroid for some thyroid support. So that's really helpful.
Is it the oxygen?
Yes, the hydroxygen. You could put a little bit on your carotid arteries for your vagus nerve stimulation and support. You could put it topically, as long as not an open wound. You could do it topically and get a lot of relief if you have any pain.
Fascinating. Sounds like there's you know, like there's an app for that. There's a solution for that. If there's a challenge, basically, some of us have gone down the path, some of us have not yet gone down the path. Part of the reason why I've held off, just to be completely honest, is because of the fact that it was a lot with the different medicines that I've been taking for these, like mast cell activation and all that stuff. But I will be starting, and I'm going to be sensitive and comprehensive. So I'm going to be doing half doses, 10 months, and the like really comprehensive protocol with all the things. So between all of us, I think that we'll have a reference point to share from. But I just want to encourage everybody and let everybody know that we're excited. We're going to have a group set up. We've been working on it. We're going to have a picture of the drainage funnel. It actually is very uncomplicated if you allow it to be. I mean, if you have brain fog, it looks complicated at first because it feels like a water hose of information coming at you. But when I actually sat down and calmly just looked at it, I was like, okay, this is going to be great. So I'm really excited, and I'm so grateful for you coming on with us today. I just want to give anybody any last minute closing remarks before I close it out and see patients.
I have a question.
Okay, go for it.
I know you guys said about, you know, alcohol while on this is, like stay away, whatnot. What about smoking marijuana?
I don't know.
Is that going to affect anything? Is that a big deal?
That's a good question. My dad does that all the time. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of glyphosate is on that stuff, Dad. Here we are detoxing you, and I don't know what is on that stuff. So, you are going deep detox. So I don't know, maybe take a binder before you go for it. You might want to introduce the HMET, which is heavy metals and environmental toxins, which covers glyphosates and pesticides. So maybe you can take a dose of that before you take a hit of that, So I don't know, but that is a question I'm going to bring up in one of my meetings.
That is such an awesome question. Sometimes I think people have it for medical use, like in our area, we have it for medical use.
Well, hopefully it's clean.
Maybe, hopefully it's
source.
clean. Maybe you won't need it as much, but if it's for recreational, that'll be fun to get the answer. I can't wait till you take that to, are you going to take it to Dr. Davidson or Dr. Watts?
Yes, I'm going to take it to them and see what their thoughts are. But the first thing that comes to me is there glyphosate? Is there pesticides on there? What are you taking into your system? That kind of bothers me more than anything, because we're clearing out mold, heavy metals, viruses, retroviruses, all kinds of pathogens, yeast and fungus. And I mean, things are clearing out, and you just don't want to be adding them in when you're trying to get them out. There's a lot of things that will change as you start to remove all these pathogens and bacterias. You'll start to have more control of your appetite, of the things that you want to eat compared to the things that you have a struggle, trying to give up. Don't be hard on yourself. A lot of those bacterias and pathogens make you crave stuff. A lot of people start to feel like when they get on para 1 and para 2, their appetite goes down and their cravings go down. And it's because usually Dr. J says, are you hungry, or is it the parasites that are hungry? So sometimes you're feeding those parasites, you don't even realize it. But when you are on phase 1, you'll probably be on the inflamma control. And the inflamma control opens up the liver beautifully, a lot of liver support in there, but it does target a lot of candida and fungus. And some people can get backed up from that. So if that's something that you're going through, maybe go to a lower dose. Instead of 2 in the morning and 2 later in the day, take 1 and 1 of the inflamma control until your bowels start to get regulated. And then you can boost that again. If you're going to go on a sensitive dosing, that's fine, but you don't want to leave phase 1 until you are on the standard dosing for at least 30 days without constipation, without headaches and bloating, and without any itchiness or rashes. If you're going through that, you got to make sure that clears before you go into phase 2. You don't want to go into phase 2 constipated. That will be horrible for you.
So phase 1 could last longer than a month. It could last a couple months.
Some people that are really toxic, really having a hard time. And so, but it's funny because they think, some people I've heard say, I am so sensitive, and I'm planning 2 to 3 months for phase 1. And after 2 weeks, they're like, I can handle these doses. And they're amazed. So the body starts to open up, the biotoxin binder it just kind of gets in the nooks and crannies and vacuums everything up beautifully. The biotoxin binder, it goes systemically, it goes into the organs, into the tissues, it goes into, passes the brain barrier, it goes to the toxin, grabs that toxin, lowers the inflammation in the cell, repairs the damage any damage that toxin may have done to the cell, repairs that damage, and then delivers a nutrient if that cell needs anything. So these binders are really a game changer on the market. It's a new type of supplementation. This isn't competing with anything. This is everything in its own category. And in phase 1, when we just open those drainage pathways, And then, sorry, and then in phase 2, you're going to start clearing out the gut really, really well. And when you start clearing out the gut, you don't want any roadblocks. So opening up the drainage pathways is making sure we're clearing out any roadblocks before we go and start clearing out the gut. We're going to need the Mito ATP, and the minerals in phase 1 are going to really build up that mitochondria and give your body the energy and the strength it needs to get through that detox. So we're preparing you in a lot of ways to go through a smooth transition and easy as possible of a detox. I missed the question. I saw a question.
There were 2. I think
Oh.
I think Joy got one of them. How do you know if you're on phase 1 for longer than you should be without changing something up? And if 2 TUDCA, 1 inflammation control is working to keep bowels moving, do we need to change that for 30 days to graduate to phase 2, or just ride this formula out for 30 days? And then she said, Sarah, you just need to be on a full dose of phase 1 for 30 days before moving on to phase 2. Greek to me for right now, but Joy or Lisa.
Okay. I think I got a little distracted. I couldn't hear. So I think
sorry, it's in the chat. Can you see those 2 questions? It might be easier for you because you'll probably have a really quick ability to answer those, and then we'll wrap it up.
You definitely want to stay on a full dose for 30 days of phase 1 before you go into phase 2, including inflammation control. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the second question is, if 2 TUDCA, 1 inflammation control is working to keep bowels moving, do we need to change that for 30 days to graduate to phase 2, or just ride this formula out for the full 30 days? So Sarah basically, Joy said, Sarah, you need to be on a full dose of phase 1 for 30 days.
Maybe speaking, I'll explain.
Yeah,
so,
maybe that might be easier.
Okay, thank you.
So I did what you said, the 2 TUDCA, and I dropped to 1 inflammation control, and I'm doing 4 bowel movers, 2 and 2. So I'm fine, but
Good.
in order to graduate, I have to add back that 1 inflammation control, right?
Yes, please. Yes, do that. That will be really helpful.
Like, at what point do you decide to do that? And then what if it wrecks it again? I mean, does it just like you stay on that for the rest of the time until?
Try it. If you're doing, as long as you're moving your bowels, and then you introduce the inflammation control, and then you get backed up again, try boosting the bowel mover again and see where your balance is. But thankfully you're going number 2. The inflammation control, because it's pulling out so much fungus and so much candida, that has a way of backing you up. Some people just get constipated. I know you drink a lot of water, so that's really, really helpful on inflammation control. But try adding it in. Maybe try 2 in the morning and 1 in the evening for a couple days. See if you're okay with that, and then take your second dose in the evening, and then make sure you're okay with that. It'll start to balance. You'll start to find your groove, but it's strong and it's powerful. The products work. And if you have to boost your bowel mover, maybe I prefer my bowel mover in the evening. I don't even take it in the morning. So maybe you can adjust to 3 in the evening. Did you say 2 and 2 bowel mover? You can get creative and maybe do 3 in the evening and 1 in the morning of bowel mover.
Well, it makes me nauseous, which is why I was doing it twice a day.
Okay. I'm sorry it makes you nauseous. Yeah, there's a lot of antiparasitics in it. So got some work to do. It's working.
Wow, that's so yummy. Well, I think that's pretty good. I'm sure we could probably talk for like hours, and I could talk about poop forever, which sounds gross to some people. But so I'm excited about January, and I already started with my bowel mover, and I do a lot of other things. So I'm good on the 2, and it's fine for me. I'm super excited to embark on this with everybody, and yeah, is there a parting statement either one of you wants to make, Lisa or Joy?
I just want to answer Jenny's question real quick.
Sure.
You can go into each individual product for TUDCA on the website, on the CellCore website, and pull up the sensitive dose for each product. Is that correct, Lisa?
Yes. Yes.
That's all. So I'm excited to do this with you guys. Thanks for being here. Stay tuned. We'll put together a Facebook group that'll launch a couple days before we start on the 11th.
Oh, excellent. Very excited for you guys.
Bye, you guys. Thank you so much, Lisa.
My pleasure. Thank you too. Bye.
Bye.